My friends, welcome. You're tuned into the 88th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream here on YouTube. Hey, everybody. Hope you had a great week. Happy Ides of March 15th. Hope you're having a great weekend, and I hope you had a chance to play your guitar this week. We're going to have a pretty good show. I mean, we always have a pretty good show, but I have some cool stuff planned for today. I think you're going to dig it. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Hello, William, Scott, Wingo, Randy, Matt Delahunt, first in line tonight. Hey, Matt, everybody, thanks for being here. Randy, I hope you got your book in the mail. Thank you for ordering that book, and I sent it to you. I hope you got it maybe today. Maybe you got it today. If not, if you didn't get it already, you're going to get it Monday or Tuesday. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you who observe. You guys know I'm here for your questions. I'm a guitar teacher. Ask me a guitar question, but don't worry. There will not be a lull in today's show whatsoever, because I got so much stuff to talk about with you guys. We have a poll question up and running. It's a real softball question. When you play your guitar outside, where do you play? Do you play at the beach? Do you play in the backyard? Where do you play your guitar when you play outside? I got spring fever, so that's why this is on my mind. Some of you might never play outside, and that's an option too. So don't forget to vote in tonight's poll. We have a student quote of the week. We have our regular segments such as Should I Sell Out? We have my own dumb question of the week. I ask it so you don't have to. Little tough love segment. We have our weekly play along. I can't wait to get to this week's play along. Other updates that you might be entertained by. Keith Richards just got an award here in Connecticut, his home state. Do you guys know that Keith Richards lives here in Connecticut? At least he has a house, and he's here often enough to get an award from the state of Connecticut. How about a picture of the oldest guitar? It was on the internet, so it must be true. Stick around for a picture of the oldest guitar. A couple of interesting YouTube comments that I got this week. Ooh, a concept. I'm calling it Philadelphia style practicing, because I was watching a video from the concertmaster of the Philadelphia Orchestra. That means the #1 violinist. And he was talking about super slow practicing. And so I'm going to refer to it as Philadelphia style practicing. I want to share with you what I learned from him. Oh man, a super interesting perspective on music that is from India, where you'll see what I mean. They notate the music in a way that we can visually see how music from other cultures looks compared to our music in a visual way. It's a very cool image that definitely resonated with me, and I think you guys would get a kick out of it. It has nothing to do with reading music, so don't worry. It's not about quarter notes and eighth notes and B flats and stuff like that. How about all the work that went into creating authenticity in the Complete Unknown movie, the Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothy Chalamet? Found a very cool video about the dude in charge of all the microphones that were on screen. Now, why is that relevant? It's super interesting. He's also going to be doing the same thing for the upcoming Bruce Springsteen biopic called Deliver Me From Nowhere. Super interesting. And I have to admit, when I was watching the Complete Unknown movie back in December, I was looking for facts regarding Bob Dylan's career. I didn't have my eye tuned in to the exact style, not just of the microphone on screen, but of the connecting cables. Oh my God. They put a lot of work into that. So I have a very cool video to share with you about that. Yeah, man. Okay, so those are some of the things I have to share with you. We have a bunch of interesting bands coming through town right across the street. I got links to share with you for those 5 different bands. I got some stories to tell. I want to do a quick demo of my tremolo pedal, because we talked about tremolo effects last live stream. So I grabbed my tremolo pedal. So we're going to do a little tremolo demo during tonight's show as well. Hey, who is Tasha? Thanks you for joining us, Tasha. You think I should raise my camera up? I could. I don't know. Looks okay on my end. Good enough, but thank you. And Tasha, you are aware that Keith Richards lives here in Connecticut. I mean, I have a feeling he has a second house somewhere else, maybe a third or fourth, but one of his homes is here in Connecticut. So, oh, how could I forget? Our segment that I like to call A Lesson You'll Never Forget. We're going to talk about the climactic moment of Mark Knopfler's guitar solo on Sultans of Swing. Not the entire solo, although I'm happy to do that someday too. I'm talking about the when he does all that fast stuff, towards the very end of the song, right? I want to show you that because it's cool and it might just be easier than you think. Zucca from Italy, hello and welcome. So, a lot going on. Oh, Tasha, you already know that solo? Okay, so then you have a head start. So obviously it's a great solo, right? Tasha, maybe you have done the whole song. It's on my list of things to learn all those cool riffs that Mark Knopfler does throughout the song. But I'm starting with the big fancy solo at the very end of the song. But yeah, excellent. Okay, so Tasha, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that 13-10, 13-10 picking that moves up to the 15-12 picking. Yeah. Even if you are an acoustic guitar player and it's not on your bucket list to learn the solo for that song, stick around because I think you'll get a kick out of the technique that's involved. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Okay, so my friends, I'm sure you guys have some questions for me. Put your questions in the chat with a bunch of question marks in advance. That's how you know your question. That's how I know your question is aimed at me. What am I wearing? I'll tell you. I got my t-shirt from Color City Guitars, Troy, New York. Why is Color City Guitars called Color City? It's a nickname for Troy, New York. You guys can Google it. I'll tell you. But Color City, it's a nickname, right? Cities all have nicknames, right? It seems like they do. Color City. Anyways, Color City Guitars, very cool place. I only went there one time. Cool place. Got a cool t-shirt. I don't know. I thought I'd throw them a little love tonight. Okay. So where should we begin? I don't know. What do you want to do? There's so much stuff here. Let's go to the student quote of the week. I had such a cool student quote of the week. Very often it has to do with playing the guitar. Not this week. This week's student quote of the week came from one of my guitar students who builds his own guitars. And every time he comes into lesson, he gives me a little update on wherever he is at with the current guitar that he's working on, right? And so he comes into his lesson. He's about 20 years old. Comes into his lesson, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" He said, "Oh, pretty good." He said, "I'm making some progress on my current build." He said, "In fact, I'm wearing some of the progress," meaning some of the paint, sawdust. I mean, wood. What do you call it? Not sawdust. Well, sawdust. Yeah, he's like wearing some of it. I thought that's pretty cool, man. He's wearing some of the progress. So that's the student quote of the week. Not all of my students build their own instruments. And he does. How cool is that, right? So that's a student quote of the week. I am wearing some of the progress. Should I sell out? Here is the offer. You guys may be aware that I get emails on a regular basis, different companies suggesting that I try to sell you their product. And now that type of email has meaning for me, I like sharing them with you guys. I'm very disappointed to report I only got one email this week from some random corporation trying to get me to sell you something, but it was kind of a juicy one. So should I sell out? Here is the product that they would like me to try to sell to you. It is a product, wait for it. I got to read this. It's designed to minimize chassis distortion and reduce noise in your Tesla. This is a very specific product. Anybody interested? Should I sell out? I think what they would like me to do is to make a video promoting their product and present you guys with that video. Again, it's designed to, quote, minimize chassis distortion and reduce noise in your Tesla. I'm going to pass, I think, but that was the only offer this week. I can't believe that I'm actually disappointed. There you go. That's, I have a dumb question for you. Let's get right to the dumb question of the week. I ask it so you don't have to. Continuing the theme of playing your guitar outside. Here's my dumb question for you. Is sunshine, bad for your guitar? A dumb question. Is it? I don't know. It's not going to get a sunburn, right? What are guitars? How could it be bad for your guitar? Is it bad for your guitar? I have a dumb question. But yeah, it is. It's bad for your guitar. When you do play outside, and I hope all of you play outside, except Randy. Sounds like it's snowing there in Colorado. Oh, Scott says hello from snowy Utah. Randy is from watching from Colorado. So Scott, you may not be playing outside, although you know what? Those of us who live where we get snow, there are those days when you can have snow on the ground, but the temperature is pretty high and the sun is bright. So, you could sit in your porch, right? And play outside. Anyways, yeah, sunshine is bad for your guitar. You don't want to play in direct sunlight. I don't recommend it. The UV light just cannot be good for your instrument in general. For acoustic guitars, I'd be worried about a guitar heating up so much that maybe some of the glue starts to melt just enough that the glue that is holding the structure together all over your acoustic guitar, that, I don't know. So there's the dumb question of the week, and a hopefully not so dumb answer. Is sunlight bad for your guitar? Yeah, you don't want a whole lot of sunlight on your guitar. When your guitar's inside, maybe you got it on a stand or hanging on the wall, you don't want this sun to be pounding away on it, even if the guitar's inside. It's a bad idea. Okay, there you go. The dumb question of the week. Check. Who's in town this week? I'll tell you. And remember, the reason I tell you about who's coming through my town is because if they're on tour coming through my town, they very well might come through your town. A cool band doing some New Orleans Mardi Gras R&B kind of stuff, the Jamie McLean Band. They're on tour. I'll post a link to one of their videos after the live stream in the link in the description of this video. I think it's tonight, the Church of Cash, a Johnny Cash tribute band, and that singer, whoa, is his voice deep. He's got a low voice. Holy cow, the Church of Cash. They're on tour. They're coming through town. I got a funny story to tell you about who I thought was the Church of Cash this afternoon. A very interesting band from Ireland called Dervish. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day. Anybody else seeing just a ton of Irish music coming through your area in the month of March? We sure are. So Dervish is coming through this week. Spyro Gyra is coming through town. And also a type of a country band called Cimarron 615. They are coming through town. So I'm going to share links to videos from all those groups in the description of this live stream. Okay, the funny story about the Church of Cash. My little music shop is a stone's throw from the theater where bands play. So it's common that bands will go out to get some fresh air. Maybe they get to town, 6 hours early. They see my shop. They think, oh, I'm going to go check out the music shop. I would do the same thing. And what they find is, I'm in just teaching a guitar lesson or a drum lesson. It's not like some cool, amazing music shop with tons of vintage gear and oddball stuff. That's okay. So these guys poke their head in as if they're going to walk in. They see I'm teaching a guitar lesson. They say, oh, didn't mean to interrupt. Youngish guys, younger than me. They got the hipster beard. They got the cool glasses. They got the cool jeans. 4 guys walking around. It's got to be the band, right? It's got to be the band. So it just happened, they excused themselves and walked down the sidewalk. It just so happened I was wrapping up with my student. So I stuck my head out the door and kind of, gave them a yell and said, hey, do you need anything? Because I'm thinking if it's very likely it's the band who's going to be playing tonight, and maybe they need a capo, or I've loaned stuff out to bands who are in dire straits and they need something for the night show, I said, you guys need anything? No. Oh, I said, and I explained to them what I just told you. Sometimes there's a band across the street. They go, you think we were a band? They're looking at each other. They go, that's the coolest compliment I've ever gotten in my life. I said, well, I got to say, you guys, you look like a band. You got 4 guys, all about the same age. They're dressed kind of fashionably, good-looking guys. They got the hipster beard, the cool glasses. I'm like, you guys look like a freaking band. How could you not? In fact, I started thinking to myself, At what point in your life do you decide not to be a band? You're the right age. You got the look. You're obviously friends. How are you not a band? How did you get this far in life and not form a band? That's a better question. Anyways, that is the a little aside today. William says 615 is a Nashville area code. So maybe that's part of it. Cimarron 615. Maybe that is where that particular band got their name came from. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. So, hey, let's learn something. Let's do something. I can't forget about this. All right. Let's get into the guitar solo from Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. Don't go anywhere. If you love that song and you want to learn the solo, you're in the right place. If you have no idea what I'm even talking about, I think you're going to get a kick out of this. And I'm going to share the screen. So let's get down to business. What do you need? You need your guitar. That's the only thing you need. Okay. Now, I'm aware that sometimes when I do this, the screen goes black for a minute. And I don't know why that happens. Believe me, it's disappointing to me too. And then you do see the image that I want you to see. But I know sometimes it takes a minute. So I'm sharing the screen right now, and hopefully you guys will see it in 5 seconds. If your screen is dark at the moment, do not fret. You're not going to miss anything. Okay. For those of you who can see the screen, this is Jonathan's lesson plan to show you the technique involved in the climactic moment of the Sultans of Swing solo, and to encourage you to add it to your bag of tricks, whether you're doing an improvised guitar solo, or I know a lot of you do home recording, you write your own songs. Maybe you want a cool intro to a song, or a cool riff, or a small guitar fill, Music Fan says the Sultans of Swing riff is up on the screen. Music Fan is our moderator. That's why her name is Blue. And we've been married for 22.5 years. 22, no. Yeah. No, 21. I know what an anniversary is. We've been married for a little while. Okay, let's get down to it, everybody. Now, I can make this bigger, and I just might do that because is that getting big on your end? If not, give it a second. It's going to get very big. I know someone's like, dude, that's too much. That is too much. Okay, but to me, that looks awesome. I'm kind of nearsighted, so to me, that looks amazing. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I'm going to play that first riff. Okay, I'm playing notes that reflect an E minor chord. I'm using my middle finger. Use any finger you want. 3rd fret skinny string. I'm going to pluck it with a down pick, and I'm going to let go to achieve that 0 on the 1st string. If you're disappointed with how quiet the 0 is, you can use a little more of the flesh of your finger, commit a little more flesh to tugging on the string as you let go. And that 0 will be a little more audible. Only one down pick with my right hand, my picking hand. Okay, next comes a down pick on the 2nd string open. And I highly recommend doing an up pick on the open 1st string. So we have a 4-note riff, down with a pull off, and then a down up. Give yourself a minute. For some of you, it's going to feel a little weird at first. You're multitasking, and the best advice in the world for guitar players, musicians, go slowly. There is no better advice than go slowly, okay? The downs and ups are super important, although we're gonna put the pick down in a minute, and I'm gonna show you more. But at the moment, okay, you are playing 3 different notes that add up to an E minor chord. Okay, The next one, oh, by the way, see those two thin vertical lines right before the number 4, fret? Anytime you see music divided by two thin vertical lines, that indicates these are two separate things. It's not a song that you play all the way across, okay? All right. By pulling off from 4 to 0, you are now reflecting an E major chord. Okay? Everyone good so far? These are not what's happening in the song, but these are getting you to what is going to happen in the song, right? Okay, notice that up above these little riffs, I wrote E minor, root note on first string, E major, root note on first string. You always want to know where the root note is. That's the note that shares the name of the chord that you're reflecting. So the first riff reflects an E minor chord. The note E is that open first string. That's where you find the root note, the open first string. And the next one, second one on the top line, root note on the first string. Now, this might be super obvious to some of you. I hope it is. But you always want to know where the root note is. Anytime you're doing any sort of riff, even if you're not playing the root note, you want to know where it is. This is especially true for any of you who want to be lead guitar players, improvise with scales, make up your solos and stuff like that. But everyone, rhythm guitar players, everyone, you always want to know where the root note is. Okay, you good so far? Now, those of you who always play with a pick and you never play with your bare fingers, here's a chance to do something a little cool. Put down your pick. Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits is one of the more famous rock guitar players who does not use a pick. Plays electric guitar, rocks as hard as anybody, but he does it with bare fingers. Lindsey Buckingham, Robbie Krieger from The Doors, and I'm sure there's a bunch of others. These are players that, to my knowledge, never or rarely play with a plastic pick. They're known for being finger players. Despite the fact that they're rocking out on solid body electric guitars, they do it all with their bare fingers. It's a little bit unusual. Okay. Now you have a lot of picks at your disposal, right? I want you to think of your bare fingers now. Each one is a pick. Okay, so check it out. What I encourage you to do, top of the page, that 3-0 pull off, use your thumb on the skinny string. Use your thumb again on the second string, and then your index finger plucking up on the first string. You put it all together slowly. You got my thumb, index. There's potential to go incredibly fast because literally you have two picks, right? I mean, that's a good way to explain the potential for speed. So now you don't have to do it this way, but Mark Knopfler does. And this is how you get as fast and smooth as he does in this solo. Could someone do it with a pick and play super fast? You definitely could. I mean, you could. I gotta say though, it's meaningful to do it the way he does it. And even if you've never used your bare fingers before, this is a really good intro to using your bare fingers. I mean, just thumb and pointer. I'm doing the 4-0, the second one on the top of the line. Remember at the beginning I said some of you might be a little bit disappointed with how that second note of the pull-off sounds. You might think, ooh, it's so quiet. We don't, obviously we want it to make some sound, right? But as you go faster and faster, the exact sound of the pull-off, the exact volume becomes a little less significant because you're going so fast. But nevertheless, yeah, of course, you want to hear some of the pull-off in there. Okay, so questions, comments, are good so far? Oh, by the way, this PDF we're looking at, this is one of many PDFs available to you at my website, song-bike.com. If you're already a member of the website, go to the PDF section, scroll down, you'll see the Sultans of Swing Riff, and it looks exactly like this. Okay, and there's a lot more PDFs there waiting for you. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Okay, now the C major, the 3010, a little bit tougher here, a little bit tougher because of that 1 on the second string. In a perfect world, you'd have that 1 glued down on the second string, first fret, right? That. The first 2 we did, I went easy on you because it's mostly zeros, right? Little bit tougher. You don't have to have that 1 permanently glued down. But it is ideal. It's if you can keep that down. I'm switching to my pinky on the 3rd fret. I just feel like I can maintain my index finger on the 1st fret, 2nd string, if I switch my pinky on the 1st string. By the way, literally that index finger 1st fret on the 2nd string, that's the note C, and look at the name of what we're doing. It's a C major riff with a root note on the 2nd string. There's the note C right there. Okay, one more. The one next to it, the E major riff, 7 down to 4, 5 on the 2nd string. Okay, so here's my pinky on 7 on the 1st string. But before I even start, you got to have that index waiting on 4. In fact, a guy asked me a question today. He said, "What is, when you do a pull off, if there's a 3 and then a 1, what's going on with that?" I said, "Well, you have to have both notes ready to go. In this case, it's 7 and 4. You have to have them both ready to go. But I'm only letting go of the higher number, the 7. 5 on the 2nd string, back to that 4. I'm leaning into this a little bit because I really want every note to ring clearly. I don't want anything to get muffled. When I fret that 5 on the 2nd string, I don't want my skin on my middle finger to dampen out the note that was ringing clearly in the 1st string. If you can keep your index and middle both down, look how much my fingers are arching, right? You got to have your whole hand arching a little bit, right, to get that nice clearance. If you can do that, then it's all, there's only one finger moving. It's the pinky finger. If you cannot maintain all that at the same time, don't worry about it. At the moment, we're talking about what's ideal, And again, I've switched over to bare fingers. My thumb is plucking the skinny string with a downstroke. Then there's the pull off. Okay, thumb on the 2nd string, index plucking up on the 1st string, thumb, index. You can go so fast with a little bit of practice. I would go as far as to say it's extremely possible you'll be picking faster than your fretting hand can deal with at first. And that's when you have to discipline yourself to slow it down and make every note count, right? It's a great feeling when one of your hands can really do its job awesome, is exceedingly well. Guitar is a 2-handed instrument, Okay, so we're almost done with this little lesson here. Doesn't mean I expect everyone to have it perfect, but see these now coming up, the D minor. See how there's a little asterisk next to that D minor, a little asterisk next to the B flat major. Okay, these are the ones that actually appear in the song, right, Tasha? These are the ones that actually appear in the song, this climactic moment of the solo. I'm doing the 13-10 pull-off. I'm doing that one, the D minor riff. It's basically a D minor arpeggio, you could say. Oh, by the way, Like Mark Knopfler, I'm lightly resting my pinky and ring finger on the face of the guitar. You don't have to do that, but I noticed that he does it. I've seen him doing it, and it feels good to me. But they're resting on the guitar. They're not grinding into it. Okay, so what's the trick to this? My index finger is doing a little tiny bar on the 2 treble strings 10th fret. Ooh, it's time to talk about your thumb. Yes, your thumb. Your thumb really needs to be pointing straight up towards the ceiling, but hidden back behind my neck. We've talked about this before. See how you cannot see my thumb at the moment? Yeah, don't let me see your thumb either. We don't want your thumb up like this. We don't want your thumb parallel to the neck like that. It's got to be hidden behind the neck of the guitar, but pointing up towards the ceiling. Trust me, it's going to help you get a better pinch, you know? Okay. And it's just going to stay there. Now, before you worry about how this riff is going, take a second and just test out those 2 notes at the 10th fret. No sense in going any further unless you're 100% sure both those notes are ringing clearly. Okay. Now you can add on pinky finger 13. I realize those of you with acoustic guitars, this might be getting a little bit awkward up the neck. I get it. There's my pull off. My thumb plucked the skinny string. Thumb on the 2nd string. Index plucking up on the 1st string. Rinse and repeat. Now I can do it. I'm not ready to join a Dire Straits tribute band and do it night after night in concert under pressure, right? We'll get to that point. But hopefully you get the idea of it. And you can join me in the challenge of getting it up to speed, not just once or twice, but every time you pick up the guitar, right? Okay, so what we are talking about is that D minor riff, the first one that should be on the left-hand side of your screen. Check out the next one. The next one change, but it's a significant change. I'm adding my middle finger 11 on the 2nd string. Everything else is staying the same, but my middle finger is, to the best of my ability, I'm arching over the 1st string to grab the 2nd string. My bar is staying in place. You might say, but why do you need the bar since the 11 is happening on the 2nd string? This song is going by too fast for me personally to adjust. And I'll explain more in a second. So for me, I would imagine from Mr. Knopfler, it's easiest just to keep your index finger bar there, okay? I did 4 times on the D minor one and 4 times on the B flat major one because that's what he does. And there's no time in between to make any big adjustments. I just plop down my middle finger. So that's my rationale. That's why I'm keeping my index finger barring the 2 skinny strings. Okay, now there's only one more. It's that C major one. I move my whole hand up 2 frets. Instead of barring 10 and 10, I'm barring 12 and 12. I lied. Actually, there is a tiny brief moment of quiet. So I do not bar anymore. I just do my index finger on only 1 string, skinny string 12, middle finger, 2nd string 13, no more barring, and my pinky up at 15. I mean, I'm getting there. You're going to do it too. It's not a big deal. And again, you could still do this with a pick, but I don't know. For me, I felt so much faster and more confident with my bare fingers, and that's how he's doing it, right? So fun. Okay, take a deep breath. So I put stars next to those asterisks next to those 3, the D minor, the B flat major, and the C major, because those are the 3 from the actual solo. At the bottom of the page, since I had a little room, I put in a few more that are not directly from the solo, but just, just other ways of doing it. Joseph says that Rick Beato did a video on Sultans of Swing and showed how to play Knopfler style. Interesting. So there's so many approaches you could take to a skill like this. Everything from, yes, you want to be able to play that. So like my goal, I really want to play that. So I want to note for note, I want to do it. I want to be able to play it with my eyes closed and just nail it. That's my personal goal. Another perfectly valid goal is understand the basic technique and then find your own way to apply it. And of course, the easiest way is to write your own song. That's just write your own song, In fact, you could use any of these riffs as the heart of your song. Going back to the very first one we did, that 3-0. There we go. I mean, that little repetitive, that could be the intro to the song, right? I would do a little bit faster. I mean, you could make up a riff, right? Tasha is still setting up, but she's right. Hey, Tasha, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. Okay, so, okay, questions, comments? You guys good with that? To be clear, I didn't expect someone who's never done this before to be super good at it right this second. No, don't worry. But now a little, a little riff, something that has a profoundly new approach in this whole thumb index finger. That's pretty weird, right? For electric guitar players, it's like maybe you never did that before. The fact that he's playing so fast at this moment in the solo, hopefully I demystified it a little bit. A pull-off essentially gives you two notes for the same effort as one note, right? Your picking hand hits one string, but the pull-off with your other hand creates a second note. So instantly you're twice as fast as you were a moment before, right? Anytime you hear a guitar player playing super fast, it's extremely likely that they're employing some tricks, for lack of a better term. Hammer-ons, pull-offs, those are tricks, right? Oh, and a hammer-on or pull-off involving an open string, I mean, especially if you're pulling off to an open string, like I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the page. I mean, that's definitely a cute little trick, right? Like the ones at the top of the page. It's possible that the incredibly fast guitar playing you're hearing is done with multiple fingers, if they're not using a pick. It's possible. It's a trick, right? It could be someone going down, up, down, up, down, up, super fast, alternate picking. It takes practice. All this stuff takes practice. But hopefully I'm demystifying things a little bit. If I've demystified a little bit, then I feel like I've done my job. And then you can choose what to do with this stuff, right? Okay, there you go. I'm going to stop sharing, okay, you guys? And like I said, the tab, what you just saw is available on my website in the PDF section. Randy says, I like that a lot. Looking forward to playing around with it later. Yeah. All our favorite songs and all our favorite guitar parts, what do you want to bet that person playing that guitar part, they just took something they learned from someone else and made it their own, right? To me, it seems really, really likely. I always laugh about the Jimi Hendrix chord. There's a chord that Jimi Hendrix used that the rest of us called the Jimi Hendrix chord. Everybody seems to call it the Jimi Hendrix chord. And I always joke, but what did Jimi Hendrix call it? He didn't call it my chord, but he probably, he may well have known, hey man, an E7 sharp 9, there we go, but it's also possible he had his own name for it. It's a chord that he learned from such and such a album, a song, a player, whatever. And so in his mind, that's what it was called. Randy says it helped to only have to worry about the thumb and index. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Check. That is, I hope it's a lesson you'll never forget. How are we doing on our poll? I see we got a bunch of people watching at the moment. I'm going to check on the poll results up here. Okay, not results, but the poll in progress. In light of my spring fever, Tonight's poll question, where do you play your guitar outside? 44% of you say, I never play outside. I'm curious why though. Is it's too public? You don't want people hearing you, seeing you, or maybe your living circumstances just not going to happen just because of your environment, or what? I'm curious. So those of you who are never going to play outside, I'm curious why. 28% play in the backyard, 4% play at the beach, and 24% other. Jamie says, I play outside by the fire with my goats. Yeah, man. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. I play outside by the fire with my goats. Beautiful. That sounds awesome. Joseph, you were asking about that Paul McCartney movie. I had not seen. I've certainly heard of it. Give my regards to Broad Street. I never saw the movie, but I've heard about it. I'm aware it exists. I'm always up for a good music movie. Hey, I'm going to wet my whistle. Apple cider in March. I'm guessing they froze a whole lot of this apple cider, and that's why we're still drinking it in March. I'm curious, any of you guys have plans to hear some Irish music this weekend with St. Patrick's Day coming up? In general, there's a lot of Irish music around in the month of March. And I'm curious if any of you are going to make an effort to go hear some live music. Rock Lobster, when Rock Lobster plays outside, it's playing on the swing on the deck, and that sounds awesome too. Rock Lobster, I know it's a little bit cold where you live, so I imagine it might be a little while before you're out on that deck playing. That's something to look forward to, right? Hey, this Thursday, the vernal equinox, right? Right, the first day of spring, this Thursday. Keith Richards. Let's talk about Keith Richards for a minute. I got show and tell. Don't go anywhere. Keith Richards got an award. Sure he did. Of course he did. He got an award from the state of Connecticut. Did he do something? Well, the state of Connecticut, I think, was very proud that he is a resident of the state of Connecticut. Okay, so let's see if I can share this. So they gave him an award, and he had a kind of a pithy quote. Let's see if I can find this. There we go. Okay. And again, if your screen goes black for a minute, do not fret. You'll see stuff very soon. So Keith Richards was given a Connecticut Governor's Award of Excellence and the key to the state for his contributions to the state of Connecticut. And hopefully you guys are seeing a picture on your screen of Keith Richards, and that's the governor of Connecticut in the center of the picture. And they didn't just give him an award and the key to the state, they also gave him a brand new library card. The event might have been hosted at the public library in the town, the Westport Public Library, where Keith Richards lives. So they gave him a brand new library card, which is actually kind of a cool thing. And he had a great quote. Keith Richards, when he received his brand new library card, he said, "Let's keep books unburnt." All right. Sounds good. So there you go. Now you're up to date with Connecticut rock and roll trends. We're giving out library cards to any old buddy. There you go. Keith Richards. Okay. Now you can say you're up. That's what's new with Keith Richards and what's new in Connecticut. Check it off the list. There we go. Hey, how about the oldest guitar? If you like that picture, check out this picture. This came up in my social media feed. So obviously it must be, what you're about to see must be true and valid. And who am I to doubt it? Here it comes. Okay. I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing. If not, give it a minute. Give it a minute. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in a minute. This is described as the oldest known full-bodied guitar. Look at that, man. That's gorgeous. Someone put a lot of work. That was not that luthier's first guitar they made, you know. And in a minute, I'm going to zoom in. Can you guys see that okay? I'm going to zoom in. Okay, let's see here. So we can all read that. Bear with me. So we can all read that museum description right there. Okay. Can I zoom in? Oh, there we go. Okay. Stand by. How about a little bit more? See that description right there? Okay. So it looks to me like it says from Lisbon, Portugal, 1590. Rosewood, spruce, ebony, ivory, whalebone, parchment, and gut. The maker, Belchior Diaz. The oldest known full-size guitar, its body proportions, the 5 double courses of strings. That means 5 pairs of strings, right? Gut strings, tied gut frets. Whoa. Decorative style, typical of Baroque guitars. You guys see what I'm seeing there? I'm just reading along. Hopefully you guys are reading it too. A remarkable glimpse of the earliest days of the world's most popular instrument. So now I have to admit, I don't know which library this is from. But Robert J. Ulrich and Diane Silic, it's a gift from them. So probably pretty easy to Google it and figure that out. But wow, is that gorgeous? Okay, I'm going to zoom out. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out to where we were, right about there. All right, how cool, huh? Okay, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stop sharing, sure. Okay, let's go back here. We still there? Yeah. Ringo gets the comedy prize. Ringo says that's Keith Richards' first guitar. There you go. That's what we need. We need you guys to help me tie the whole show together. Yeah. So Scott says is the 10-string. Yeah. I mean, that would be a 10-string, in effect, a 10-string guitar. What about the idea of the frets, instead of being metal, it's, I guess, animal gut that's been tied, looped around and tied super tight. Holy cow, man. Holy cow. Regarding taking a riff and making it your own, Tasha says, just heard an artist use the entire Bill Doggett honky tonk solo as their own. Interesting. I mean, it's one thing to quote from a solo. It's another thing to do the whole thing and, I don't know, and try to get away with it or something. Quoting a solo is a cool thing, right? But I don't know, to claim it's your own, I don't know. Not so cool. Hey, everybody, in a couple minutes, we'll do our play along song of the week. Don't go anywhere. It's a good one. You're going to dig it, but don't go anywhere because let's see. How about one more thing for my bag of tricks, and then we'll do this week's play along song of the week. Okay. I have all these photos, and so far things are going well. So I'm not going to mess with it. I'm about to put a photo up on the screen. It's a photo of David Kim, the concertmaster of the Philadelphia Orchestra. And hold on here. That looks good. And now I'm going to do this. And remember I talked about slow style practice? Super slow Philadelphia style practice. Okay. Again, give yourself a minute. If the screen goes black, do not fret. So this is what caught my attention. David Kim. Well, first of all, if you're in any, symphony orchestra of a city, Philadelphia or otherwise, you've earned that, man. You don't get that based on anything else. You're just a musician's musician. So if someone like that wants to give any of us any advice, I am all ears. So David Kim, here's what struck me. This particular clip, you guys maybe can see that I got this from Instagram. He was talking about and recommending super slow practice. And what he said, I'm reading his quote here. He said, I feel that my muscle memory doesn't work if I'm going just a little bit too fast. He has to play super, super slow. If you want to see him actually talking about this, it's a very short clip. See the name of this Instagram page is wise_musician, wise_musician. I recommend it highly. I always get a kick out of the things that they post. So what does that mean for us when he says, I feel that my muscle memory doesn't work if I'm going just a little bit too fast? Maybe when we think we're slowing down and getting something, maybe we should go even slower than that. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows what muscle memory is all about? As some people like to point out, it's not that your muscles are remembering anything. It's a neurological thing. I know, I get it. We use the term muscle memory because it's convenient and it's alliterative. Sounds good, muscle memory. But if he feels that going just a little bit too fast is essentially a waste of time, that's my paraphrasing it. Well, then I want to take that to heart. He went as far as to say that when he's doing a difficult passage on the violin for the Philadelphia Orchestra, for him, the magic number is 7 repetitions, extremely slowly. And I mean, I'm glad 7 works for him. I feel like in general, I'm more like 700 repetitions, but just so interesting that he's come up with a number. And, when you're at that level, who am I to doubt it? Maybe 7 times is his magic number. I definitely do not have a magic number, but it was so interesting for me to hear someone of that caliber talking about playing incredibly slowly. How slow? I don't know. As slow as you can possibly imagine. Let's start with that. 1 note per breath, So if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for us. So there's your motivation. I'm going to stop sharing now. There's your motivation to practice even slower than you think is slow enough. Give your muscle memory a chance. Maybe he's right. Maybe going just a little bit too fast is not worth anything. Maybe you have to go significantly slower than that. A lot to talk about, a lot to think about, a lot to chew on. Okay, so you ready to do this week's play along? Yeah, let's do it. Let me just check this off. We did that. From the lads from Liverpool, we got a song this week that I think you're going to dig. And let's find it here. You do not need a capo, but you need some stuff. Okay, we need this. You need your fingers. I'm going to make this small. I'm going to go a little bit smaller there. I think that's small enough. Okay. Excellent. I love it when it fills up the whole screen, but not any more than that. Okay. We need this. Good. Need that. Nope. We need this. We need that. Okay. Coming your way. This is the time of the show where I try not to identify the band or the song so I don't get demonetized. There you go. That song by that group from Liverpool. I tried to get everything on the page. I know the very, very, very bottom is getting cut off. I'm going to shrink it down just a teeny bit. Okay, 75%. Okay, there we go. All right. So let me walk you through number 1, what you need, the skills you need. Number 2, the order of everything. And then let's do it. Okay, you need the A shuffle. There's a lot of variations on shuffle patterns. This particular one has your index finger planted on the D string 2nd fret until your ring finger reaches up and cancels it out on the D string 4th fret. Just that one time. Okay, that is the exact version of the A shuffle you need for this song. Oh, by the way, before I go too far into this, the PDF for this song in much more detail is available on my website. Okay, so those of you who are already members of the website, you can get all this information, but it's more accurate, a little bit easier to read, and so on. Okay, but this will get you up and running for sure. Okay, the A shuffle, you okay with that? Nicknamed after the open A string. 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4. You'll also need the D shuffle. Just everything I just did, drop down one skinny string. 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2. And you'll need the E shuffle on the 2 bass strings. 2, 2, 4. I'm reaching up. I'm getting the 4 with my ring finger. You could certainly use your pinky. I highly recommend keeping your index finger glued down on the 2nd fret of whatever string it's touching for any of these shuffles. See how my index finger is not moving at all? Okay, so you need those 3 shuffle patterns. Down below, when I write the letter A, that means to do that exact A shuffle. When I write the letter D, you do the D shuffle, E shuffle, okay? So that's how I'm squeezing this all into one page. So you got it, okay? There's a couple exceptions to what I just said, but we'll get to those. Okay. You will need a B minor chord, however you choose to do B minor. You need an E major chord. Okay. If you look down in the middle of the page, you need some power chords. You'll need a G, A, and F sharp power chords. Those of you who have not much experience with power chords, these are the easy ones. I mean, power chords are beautiful. The G power chord, index finger 3 on the 6th string. At the same time, ring finger or pinky 5 on the 5th string. And you strum at the same time, right? That's a G power chord named after the note your pointer finger is touching. That's G. 2 frets higher, that's an A power chord. And 3 frets backwards, my index is now on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. That's an F sharp power chord. And that'll make more sense in the context of the song. Okay, these are the skills you need. And if you don't have all of these skills at this moment, that's okay. Here's your motivation, right? The other skill you need, down at the very bottom of the page. Recognize that riff? So cool, but not hard, right? Okay, those are the skills. Now let's get down to the order. You see where it says intro, sort of upper middle, the middle upper right of the middle part of the page. It says intro. The intro, it says intro in a box, and there's 3 A's and an E under it. Okay, so here's how the intro goes. The A shuffle, that box at the top of the page, 3 times. And then the E shuffle 1 time. When I say 1 time, 1 box, 1 unit, 1 measure, you could say. So the intro is going to sound like this. A shuffle. 2nd time. 3rd time. And then the E shuffle. Okay, that's the intro. By the way, that's the part that's happening while the lead guitar is doing the classic, which, by the way, is just a little double stop, 5th fret on the 2 skinny strings, but we're sliding into it from a few frets back. And rhythmically, you're thinking, blueberry, 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 blueberry. All downstrokes. Okay. But let's get back to the rhythm guitar part of the song. Okay, so there's the intro, right? 3 A shuffles, 1 E shuffle. Now the words come in. A shuffle again. Then see where it says half A? That's a 1/2A, a half A. It means half of that measure. Half A is my quick way to say this we're about to play. Okay, a full A would be, you say you want a revolution, well, you. Now you can keep track of all the A's, or you can just wait for the word no, K-N-O-W, no. Oh, well, you know. When he says the word no, we all shift over to the D shuffle. No, you do that 2 times. We all want to change the world, and back to the A shuffle. Okay, 2 D shuffles. Again, look up the top of the page. That box, that's 1 D shuffle. Okay, you get the idea, right? 2.5 A's, 2 D's, 2 A's. Second part, 2.5 A's, 2 D's, 2 E's. Okay. Okay, so if I were to play the entire verse, don't worry, we're gonna do the official play along in a minute. Here's the entire verse, 2.5 A's, 2 D's, etc. 2 slowly, here we go. You say you want a revolution, well, you know, there's the D. We all want to change the world. You're back in the A. Second line. You tell me that it's evolution. Well, you know. There's the D. We all want to change the world. That's the E. Okay? You're okay with that? Sure you are. Okay, the pre-chorus. Ooh, it gets easy for a minute here. Hit the B minor one time, just let it ring. When you talk about destruction, when you talk about destruction, there's the E. They're both going to ring for 4 beats. B minor, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, B minor again, 3, 4. Nice simple strums, let it ring, okay? See how I put a single slash mark under the B minor? That's my way of saying play it once and let it ring. 2, 3, 4, E, 3, 4, B minor, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now that's depending on your relationship with B minor. Hopefully that's the easy part of the song. By the way, after you hit the E and you got to get back to the B minor, you can let go of that E right away and start, using that time to get to the B minor. Okay. Don't you know that you can count me out? That's where the power chords come in. Count me out. I did the G power chord, 3 on the 6th string, 5 on the 5th string. G, up 2 frets, back 3 frets. G, A, F sharp. Okay. The F sharp continues for 3 more strums. And then it turns into the E power chord, which is the easiest one, open 6th string, and I'm using my index finger 2 on the 5th string for 4 strums. So if I were to play the whole pre-chorus very slowly, I'm going to do it right now. B minor, here it comes. 2, 3, 4. When you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. No, it's gonna be. And then you're into the chorus, the tune. And the chorus is like a reward because the chorus is the easiest. I think you're gonna find the easiest part. Deep breath, you okay? Some of you are cruising through this and you're just waiting for me to start the actual play along. I get it. Some of you are like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. That is okay. This isn't a test. Whatever parts of this you find especially new, unfamiliar, challenging, yeah, now you got a new thing to work on, right? I'll say this. Everything in this song involves skills that you're going to use for a lot of other songs. So you might as well get this song down because you're going to use the same skills over and over. Okay, the chorus. A shuffle, D shuffle, A shuffle, D shuffle. Don't you know it's going to be all right? You know it's going to be. That's the A shuffle. All right. You know it's going to be all right. Okay, A and D back and forth. And then you got a very cool riff at the bottom of the page in slow motion. Look at all those zeros. You got to love a lot of zeros. Little hammer on the 5th string, 0 to 2 on the 5th string. So you could say the first, 5 notes of this riff that ends the chorus, 6th string open, 5th string hammer on, 0 to 2. I'm using my left index finger. and the open fourth string. And by the way, that's the same as what happens at the end as well, okay? The second riff, my index is already squeezing the 2 in advance. I pluck it, hammer hard on the 5th string I'm using my ring finger, you could use your pinky. And the next note is 2 on the 4th string. Slow motion. And the third riff, you're back to the riff you start off with. Okay, chorus, slow. And then we'll bring in the whole play along. Hey, Bruce, welcome. Bruce, you're right on time, man. Right on time for the play along. Yeah, Natty's pointing out that this has the riff, which is like it does relate to Chuck Berry in the sense that it's that, that double stop. You got it. So chorus, super slow, Philadelphia style. You know it's gonna be all right. You know it's gonna be all right. You know it's gonna be all right. Here it comes slowly. Now, depending on the exact course of the song, you could either repeat that second riff again, that 0-2-4. You could repeat that again. The first time through the chorus, someone, and I'm guessing it's John Lennon, since this is like his tune, and he's a type of person to do this, they just throw a loud kind of chang on open strings. Kind of like, I should have warned you, sorry, that's kind of noisy. And you can kind of hear it. It's at the end of the first chorus of the song. He goes, I don't know. I never noticed it before, but now it's like I can't unhear it. I believe typically the other choruses, I believe he or someone repeats the second of the 3 riffs. Okay, you ready to do this from the beginning? I will be after I have my beverage. I'm going to go a little bit faster. I try to keep it realistic, and yet maybe a hair slower. It's actually a pretty slow song. You know, you guys, when I pick these songs to do, that's one of the boxes. Is it slow-ish? Is it famous? Does it have some pretty rudimentary skills? Check, 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 check. All right, intro. 3 A shuffles, E shuffle. Feel free to put in that. Okay, if you're so inclined. All right, ready? As I'll ever be. I'll see you on the other side. Intro, 1, 2, 3, 4. You say you want a revolution. Well, you know, we all want to change the world. You tell me that it's evolution. Well, you know, we all want to change the world. But when you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out? 2, 3, 4. You know it's gonna be all right. You know it's gonna be all right. You know it's gonna be all right. You say you got a real solution. Well, you know, We'd all love to see the plan. You ask me for a contribution. Well, you know, we're all doing what we can. But if you want money for people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you have to wait 2, 3, 4. You know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You say you want a constitution. Well, you know, we all want to change your head. You tell me it's the institution. Well, you know, you better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow. You know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. You know it's gonna be alright. Alright. You know it's gonna be alright. All right, how'd you do? One thing I like about this song is chords, shuffle patterns, power chords, and that riff at the bottom of the page. That checks a lot of boxes. Some of you may be more comfortable with some of those things than others, right? All in one song, in one package, and it's not too fast. It's a great song. All right, questions, comments, how'd that work for you guys? I dig it. I'll say it one more time. The official PDF that I made for this song is available at my website. It is written out in, it doesn't look like magic marker. It's all, you know, proper with my software. It's about 3 pages long. It goes into a little more detail than this, for sure. So again, if you're already a member of my website, or if you're considering being a member of my website, head on over to song-bike.com, www.song-bike.com. $10 a month, you get access to a bunch of stuff, including a bigger, more detailed PDF for this song. Just look in the PDF section. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here. I hope that worked for you guys. There we go. Getting back to that oldest guitar, Scott Rhodes is who I saw someone say that. Yeah, Scott's saying if it was Keith Richards' first guitar, that's why it only has 5 strings instead of 6. I get it. I get it. Open G with no low strings. Very cool. So Tasha, getting back to your point, Tasha is saying that Sue Foley was quoting essentially or recreating the honky-tonk guitar solo with a capo on, but named it something else, huh? Do you remember the name of that song? Because I want to hear it now, you know? I want to hear it. I don't know. I'd love to hear it. Okay. Randy says, very fun. I'll have to work on the cool riff a lot to get it clean. That's what it's there for. You know, that's what it's there for. Again, as a guitar teacher, I like it when a song just covers a bunch of different relatively clear, simple ways to play the guitar, regular chords, cowboy chords, shuffle patterns, power chords, and then a cool riff. And we're not even talking about, whatever the other guitar parts are. Let's assume it's John Lennon playing the most audible rhythm guitar parts. But I mean, got to assume George is in there doing something. And Paul wouldn't be shy if Paul thought he had a great idea to overdub a guitar part. I mean, who knows, So there is, without a doubt, there's more to the song than what we just did. But that gets you up and running, with a bunch of skills that you will use for future songs. All right, you guys. Excellent, excellent. Hey, speaking of getting creative and coming up with guitar parts, Bruce, I believe last week, Bruce, you brought up a cool point about using guitar effects creatively. And so I thought I would grab my tremolo. Oh, I'm so sorry. Bang. That was not my intention. I'm going to close this and close this. Okay. So I thought I'd plug in my tremolo pedal just to illustrate what I was talking about last week. So I have currently plugged into my rig here a Boss brand tremolo, the TR2, kind of a classic. I think I paid $100. I think it's still $100. I think it will always be $100. Kind of can't go wrong with a Boss product. If you're going to buy yourself any product, don't forget to use the affiliate link in the description of this video and get it from Sweetwater. And then Sweetwater supports this live stream by sending me a tiny little bit of their profits. In fact, you guys have been using the affiliate link because Sweetwater just sent me a little bit for the that I can use for the Sharpie fund and the white paper fund. And yeah, so okay, so tremolo. I'll keep this short, but that's the sound of an electric guitar with a tremolo effect. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hopefully that's coming through loud and clear for you guys too. I really like that sound a lot because I want the listener to enjoy it as much as I am. If I were to use this in a song, my instinct would be let chords ring and not do all this down, up, boom, chicka kind of stuff. So I'm sure whatever song I would come up with would be a different song because I'm using the tremolo effect. I might stay in one chord for a lot longer. Or even if I change to other chords, I'm not going to strum the heck out of them. Just to give you an idea, I got my E major. If I did a lot of strumming on the E major chord here with a tremolo on, I mean, it sounds like something, but I really like to hear that going on beyond me, right? So I would be inclined. Okay, I'm going to do like an EDA thing. I'd be inclined to hit the chord and let it ring and then sing in between the strums. Ooh, I'm singing this song, letting the chords ring. I'm not gonna strum too much. I want you to hear the tremolo sing. I just made up that rhyme. It was the first time, man. It was the first time I ever made that rhyme. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's how I would use a guitar effect to for a creative purpose, with an understanding, or that I'm gonna do something differently. I'm gonna sing differently. I'm gonna make up a different melody because of that effect. Okay, now you get the idea. And there's other effects that might have the opposite, right? Other effects that might make so much, might inspire you or me to do more strumming, more playing, more whatever, and then maybe the melody, I don't know, will be affected by that somehow. Yeah. Tremolo, gotta love it. So there you go. check that off. Hey, you guys, you guys are being you're listening so well. You can ask me a question, okay? Put a couple of question marks in the chat if you have a question. That's what I'm here for. I'm also here to tell you Jake Fussell has a new song out, a new single. I'm a big Jake Fussell fan. Jake Xerxes Fussell, F as in Frank, Ussell. Oh man, it's just a cool song. A song called Close My Eyes. There we go. And I'm going to put a link to Jake Fussell's recording of that song in the description of this video. I'm a fan. Just very tasteful. The word folk is overused so much, but it's a dude singing with an acoustic guitar with a really tasteful backing accompaniment. I don't have a better word than folk. Oh man, I'm a big Jake Fussell fan. So I felt like I had to share that with you, that he has a new album out or coming out, and I think this song is the first single out of the album. So I'm going to put a link to that song in the description of this video. Mark Hanson, The Alternate Tunings Guide for Guitar. This is my version of the book that I was talking about last week. We were talking about alternate tunings. I believe they call this a case size book because it can kind of slip onto the neck of your guitar in your guitar case. I got this so long ago, copyright 1991. I probably got it in 91 and 92. And who was it? Who had, Scott, did you have the big version of this? Mark Hanson, Markhanson. He reviews a bunch of tunings: drop D, double drop D, dadgad, open D, open G, G6, lute and vihuela tuning, which, in case you're curious, it's this lute tuning. It's exactly what you have right now with one change. Your G string, loosen it. No jokes. You got to loosen your G string down to F sharp. No, I never read that part of the book. Anyways, interesting book. And for sure, when we do a live stream with a lot of open string stuff, which I haven't forgotten about, I look forward to that. I'm going to use this book as part of my, I like to see how other people present stuff. And if I see how 10 different people present something, then I take my favorite parts of what they do and make it my own thing. Anyways, that's my version of the book. Scott says his version is much bigger, but size doesn't matter. There you go. Anyways, now there must be other books out there, but apparently at the moment, it would seem like Mark Hanson has the market covered. Music Fan is reminding everyone, hey, let's give the video a thumbs up. Let's give this live stream a thumbs up. Yeah, why not? Why not? It doesn't hurt. Okay. So I want to, you guys are being very generous with the super chats. And I want to say thank you to Rock Lobster for your super chat donation. Thank you to Randy for your super chat donation. And Tasha, thank you for your super chat donation. That's that $ at the bottom of the screen. There are a lot of ways you can support this live stream, including buying yourself something from Sweetwater using the affiliate link in the description of this video, heading over to song-bike.com and buying yourself something. What about buying yourself, I don't know. Ooh, one of my favorites, the Strum Pattern Bible. Get yourself something. Lots of good educational material there. And it's this, buying yourself something from that website is the same as making a donation here in the live stream. And I thank you in advance. Randy, I didn't see. Randy, have you received your book yet? There's one book. There we go. This is the book that I send out as a hard copy. Every other book on the website is an electronic book that you get sent to you immediately as a PDF. This one, you got to wait for me to mail it to you, but I try to mail it instantly right away. So Randy, did you get your book yet? If you didn't, it's going to be there any day now. Okay. I'm just reading your comments here. True S Armor. Hello, True. True, you're talking about different tunings. Yeah, with all different tunings, that means that a chord as as simple as like a C chord, as popular, as common as a C chord. You're going to have to learn different ways of playing a C chord for every new tuning. Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah. And true, you're asking about this guitar here. Yeah, you're right. a Bigsby whammy bar. And this guitar is, I should give them a shout out more often. A very cool company, 10 employees out there in California, the LSL Guitar Company. And long story short, I have taught for many years. Some of you know this story. I saw that my 30th anniversary of being a guitar teacher was coming up. I thought, you know what, man, I'm gonna buy something for myself to celebrate 30 years of being a guitar teacher. This would have been, it was during the pandemic, because my 30th year would have been 2022. And I ordered a custom guitar from the Fender custom shop, waited 20 months. That's almost 2 years. And when the guitar arrived, it was not what I ordered. And I will spare you the details, but it wasn't what I ordered. And it doesn't matter what they got wrong. If it's not, if you put $1,000 down and you wait 20 months, it has to show up. It has to be exactly what you ordered. It doesn't work. It doesn't work if it's not what you ordered. So the dealer was not helpful. I thought the dealer would sort of yell at Fender for me. Dealer did nothing. So we sent it back. I mean, they gave me, all the dealer did was give me my money back, which I, to this day, I don't understand. Anyways, I did a little research on the internet and found a very cool company that was great to work with. Instead of 20 months, it took 4 months. Beautiful guitar, exactly what I ordered, super friendly people. And I saved a little tiny bit of money. I paid a little bit less. So I highly recommend LSL Guitars out of California. They have a new thing. Made the same instruments, made by the same people, but they have a lower priced version where you don't get quite as custom an instrument. Like they crank out a bunch of beautiful guitars that are similar to each other, and you can get that one at a lower price. Does that make sense? As opposed to starting from scratch and choosing every little detail and paying a premium for that. They have a new line. I believe it's called the ERA, E-R-A, the ERA line, I think. Definitely save some money, and you get a beautiful, totally handmade, beautiful guitar, but without as many possible options. And just go to their website, LSL Instruments. I think it's lslinstruments.com. And you'll see, yeah, true, you got it, LSL. So thank you for letting me share that story. I never get tired of telling that story because I'll never understand. I'll never understand what, I don't know. Very weird, man. I saved up a lot of money, man, and it felt like no one wanted my money. I don't know. That's all I have to offer, man. All I had was the money. I thought that was enough. I thought if you saved up your money and I thought that's how the world worked. And no, it doesn't work that way. Fender had no interest in making the instrument correct. Fender said, "Oh yeah, well, if you give us another 1 to 4 months, we'll make it right." Nope. It's not. I don't know. Weird. This company was not like that. Okay, thank you for letting me scratch that itch. Okay. Here's a good one. Those of you who have been watching the show, all evening long like this, or those of you just joining us, this is something that's super important to me because I worry that it might be confusing for you. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, this is a segment I call Tough Love. Although in this case, it's not tough love from a teacher to a student. It's tough love to another teacher, any teacher. Okay, here's where I'm coming from. I call this the big disconnect. Many of you have seen musicians, say on social media, and they have a message which is, There are no wrong notes. There's no mistakes. You can take a mistake and turn it into something. You can, there's no wrong note. The note you play after the wrong note makes everything right again. Have you guys heard variation in this theme? Like, if you're a real musician, man, you can turn anything into gold. And if you really understand music, then you understand that everything is good. And there are a lot of variations on that theme, which is, there's a disconnect, right? Anytime you're getting a message that mistakes aren't mistakes, it's confusing, right? And so that's what I'm calling the big disconnect. I've heard this so many times from master musicians, from very talented people, and they're so well-intentioned, and I'm afraid it's confusing for a lot of listeners, because we all make a lot of mistakes, and it sucks, and they sound bad, right? Whatever song you're working on, whether it's Revolution #1 or whatever, you make a mistake, and a 2 is not a 3. A 2 sounds bad, a 3 sounds good. It's a mistake, right? Don't let anyone tell you there's no such thing as mistakes. We all make them, and they sound bad, right? So what's the disconnect? My interpretation of those very well-meaning master musicians, long story short, they're talking about improvising. They're talking about you making your own music. They're talking about a certain context. They are not talking about when you're working on Sweet Home Alabama, Wish You Were Here, Seven Nation Army, whatever song you're working on, Dust in the Wind, right? Whatever you're working on, they're not talking about if you play a wrong note, it's okay. It's not okay. A little tough love. So admittedly, those videos that you may see, that I certainly see a lot of, they are speaking in a certain context. Of course, they would readily admit that, yeah, if you play a wrong note, it sounds bad. That's not how that song goes, right? What I worry about is this disconnect where you're like, wow, the guy says there's no such thing as mistakes, and then what's that bad sound I just made? And you might feel like, whoa, I guess I'm not at that level of musician where you can play Stairway to Heaven, but change a bunch of notes and it's all okay. It's not okay. Of course it's not okay. So to be fair, some of those videos don't have the necessary context. It's still this weird disconnect. So that's my moment of tough love for tonight. You get what I'm saying? Mistakes are not okay. Of course they're not okay. If you are soloing with a pentatonic scale and you play a note you didn't intend to play, a note that's not in that pentatonic scale, that's different, right? That's different. That is much more likely to be a situation where something you did unintentionally might actually sound pretty cool. And that's a whole separate conversation. But in case you have ever heard words of wisdom like that and felt a little disconnect and not been quite sure what they're talking about, okay, I just wanted to address that. Thank you. Zulosia Zombie checking in from Poland. Zulosia says, hi, Jonathan, having health issues kept me away from the guitar last couple of months, slowly catching up with the stream. Can't wait to play again. Oh, man. Okay, well, let's all send you some good vibes, okay? Send Zulosia Zombie some good vibes all the way over there in Poland. I'm so sorry. That's a tough thing, right? To not be able to do something that makes you feel good, right? But welcome back, and I hope you keep moving in the right direction. And thank you for the super chat. Hey, John Cavallo is asking, is anyone planning on seeing Eric Clapton on tour? That's news to me. Is Eric Clapton? I take it Eric Clapton is doing a tour, is about to go on tour. Fun. I've never seen him play in concert myself. I've seen plenty of videos of him playing, as I bet we all have. But I've never seen him in concert myself. I have mixed feelings about just huge stadium concerts. Part of me says, hey, look, all of our favorites, they're not going to be around forever. If you have to go see them in a big stadium, that's just how it is, right? And I get that. I get that. But it's beautiful and amazing that so many of all of our favorites are still out there rock and rolling and doing their thing. It's not what any of us expected. But you know, Willie Nelson, man, Willie Nelson's on tour this summer. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right, you guys. Okay, let's change to a lighter, lighthearted subject. I'm going to close this window now. A new segment. Let's do a new segment. You guys have been sticking around this whole live stream. A new segment that I'm going to refer to as looking for a musician. There's a bunch of ways that people look for musicians, like to hire a musician. And so they advertise, and sometimes they say funny things. So here's an ad. That's our first installment of looking for a musician want ads. I got 2 of them to share with you at this moment. I think this is the first one. Okay, this may be enormous on your screen. If it's way bigger than it needs to be, I apologize. Okay, I'm going to read this. This is someone looking for a drummer. And this is from a website. Well, I'll just get right to it. I need a snare drummer for a choir anthem on April 6th. Any high school band teachers or private teachers have a drummer that might be interested. They must be able to bring a drum with them, be able to read music, and play quietly. Pay is $50. I love it. I'll play quietly for $50. Some of you might be saying, wait a minute, $50? It's not bad money, right? I'll play so quietly they won't even hear me for $50. I just love that though. Got to be able to play quietly. You know what? It's whoever wrote this ad, they're no dummies. They definitely they had no dummies. Okay, one more in our segment of, close this down. Okay, one more in our segment called Looking for a Musician. This is a great one that you might get a kick out of. There we go. Okay, this one, it's not just looking for a musician. Okay, here it comes. This one. Okay, here we go. In search of a reinforced upright bass for rental. Must be comfortable with it being stood on. Hit me up with any leads. Oh, man. Yeah, I want to know how much is in their budget for an upright bass to be stood on. I got a kick out of that. So there you go. There's our first 2 installments. Our first 2 want ads, musician want ads. Hey, look, if you got an upright bass that you don't mind someone standing on it, you can make a little money in the Connecticut area in June and July. There you go. Okay. Just keeping things lighthearted, but I'm going to keep my eyes open for more ads like that. Good times. Good times. How are we doing in our poll? Everybody vote in our poll. We have plenty of time here. Here is the poll question. Where do you play your guitar outside? We got warmer weather coming soon, I hope. 45% of you say I never play outside. And I'm sure you have your reasons, although I'm curious why you don't play outside. 33%, you play in your backyard. Beautiful. 2%, only 2% go to the beach. I guess I get that. Get kind of, especially if you have a nice guitar, get kind of sandy. Maybe you only have an electric guitar. By electric guitar, you could plug in your little, Spark amp or something. 19% say other. Okay, so what are these other places? Where do you play? If not the backyard or the beach, where do you play? Front yard. Who knows? Winston from Wales. Hey, Winston, thanks for being here. Winston says, sorry, Jonathan, just caught the end of tonight's play along. Not to worry, man. Good to know you're there. As you guys know, this whole live stream is recorded. You guys know that, right? You can come back and watch all of this. But next time you come back to watch it, it'll be time-stamped. So you can jump right to, for instance, the play-along song, right? At the moment, it is Saturday, about 6:40 p.m. here in Connecticut. And tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, I make some coffee, feed the animals, and timestamp the video. So by this time tomorrow, for example, you can jump right to certain segments, such as the Sultans of Swing riff, or the play along or whatever floats your boat. Rock Lobster says, Eric Clapton was my first concert in the early 1980s. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. You guys, I'm checking things off my lists here. Keep the questions coming in. Don't be shy. Check, 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 check. Uh, check. Okay. Oh, man. I would be remiss if I did not share this one with you. Super interesting. If you're like me, you hear music from all over the world, and so it's all beautiful, but sometimes it's so unique that you think, man, what is going on with that? How, like, what is it? How do I wrap my head around it? Okay, see what I'm putting on the screen right here? And again, if your screen goes black, do not fret. Uh, what we're talking about here is a composer named Reena Esmail. I hope I'm in the ballpark. Very interesting woman, very successful working composer. And I love what she did here visually. Okay. This does not have to do with reading actual music, although if you're good at reading music, great. But putting a visual image to what we hear when we hear music, such as music from India, for example. Okay, so now don't ask me to play what she wrote down there because I'm not that kind of musician, but I see where she's coming from. Okay, so she wrote at the top of the page a 3-note phrase. It's a G, a B, and an A. And because I'm a trained Western musician, that's how I play it. I play the G, I let it ring. I play the B, I let it ring, and I play the A, and I let it really ring, right? And so Western musicians, that's me, dark orange line, medium orange line, yellow line, okay? And what she says, just in case some of you are listening to this and not reading it, she says, she wrote here, Hindustani musicians hear it as, now this is my phrase, they know the note they want, and they target it by playing notes that lead into it. And if I understand correctly, they might even be improvising the notes that lead to the desired note. So they don't just play the note the way I did. They play stuff that leads up to it, other notes. Then what's the next note? Okay, they do the same thing. They're now going to insert extra musical sounds that lead to the next note. But it's not like what I just did. Now I realize I can't play it, but I know it when I hear it, right? Like I know it when I see it. Okay, so anybody, is that resonating? Yeah, True is saying Indian music is full of trills, right? Yeah. So I'm putting this out there because it's an image that helped me help educate me to things I had heard, but I didn't 100% understand. Instead of simply playing the note, do something that leads into that note and then play the note, And if, like I said, if I understand correctly, there's some opportunity to improvise right before the intended note. Well, that's pretty intense stuff. What I can tell you is there have been moments when I've heard Derek Trucks play where it really sounds like he does that bottom thing, on slide guitar. Many of you know Derek Trucks, widely considered to be one of the best slide guitar players of all time, and I would vote for him, to be up there in the Slide Guitar Hall of Fame anytime. And there have been moments where I hear him play when it sounds like he's doing that. Instead of just sliding to a note, he'll do a little run and then end up in the note. And to me, my knee-jerk reaction as a Western musician was, oh, he's doing kind of an Indian thing right there. And it sounds so good. So, okay, thank you for letting me share that with you. Very, very interesting approach. I'm looking at the chat. Wingo says, if I were going to play outside, be in the front porch or in the car while waiting somewhere. Yeah, if you can play in the car, I mean, that's pretty cool. Stick the neck out the window, why not? I got a funny pair of YouTube comments and I thought I'd share this with you. I think I have to do one comment at a time. And the reason it cracked me up, you'll see. As you guys know, I haven't, here we go. I haven't made YouTube videos like I used to. I used to make YouTube videos. For a while I was making them every day for over a year. And I got a little burned out. I really enjoy doing these live streams. I'll go back to making videos someday, but I like these live streams. So I got I got a comment this week, and there it is on the screen. Jonathan, where the hell did you go? I thought we were learning some guitar. You did a great job teaching. Come on, guy, what's up? Hey, you know what? Fair comment, fair comment. And the person who made that comment, which is a totally fair comment, I felt like moments later, before I could even comment back, he did a little research on his own, and his timing was awesome, because just moments later, he posted this on a different thing. Hey, Jonathan, welcome back. He caught the live stream. So, sometimes you just have to scratch the surface. Like, oh, where's that guy? Oh, he's right there. So now he says, hey, Jonathan, welcome back. I'm like, okay, man. So he figured it all out without, that made my day. He didn't need me to, even respond. He figured it all out on his own. Yep, I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. But yeah, I made a video a day for about 400 days, 399, and got a little burned out. It's a lot of videos. But I found a formula that worked for me and did a lot of songs. There's a playlist here on my YouTube channel called 365 Riffs for Beginning Guitar. And that's where those videos are. Yeah, I got a little burned out. Also, I don't know, man, that's a lot of songs. I think I did all the good ones. If there's any really good song that I missed, let me know, but I think I got all the good ones. Okay, check. Hey, how about, I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but for those of you who've stuck around this far, how about that thing I mentioned way back at the beginning of the show, where, here it comes. That's what I'm looking for. Beautiful. The fellow who was in charge of all the microphones. What an interesting guy. What an interesting gig. Okay, here it comes. JML Recording. Hopefully you're seeing that. We're doing pretty well with sharing the screen, right? Anybody, dealing with a screen that stays black for too long? Hopefully you guys have seen this stuff. The gentleman on the right is Mr. JML from JML Recording Studios. Those of you who saw A Complete Unknown, you saw a lot of vintage microphones, and that's the guy on the right, that's the guy who made sure every microphone was exactly what Bob Dylan would have sung through at that moment in his career, at that venue, at that, I believe they used photos and, to identify the exact microphone that would have been in the Columbia Recording Studio or the Newport Folk Festival or whatever, and making sure they looked, new if it was a new mic, vintage if it was used if it was a used mic, making sure it's like exactly right. Even the cables, the cables coming off of the microphones and the connector at the end of the cable. Oh my God. So do I have a link? I think I do. In the description of this video, I will put a link to, let me just make sure I have this here. Yes, I'll put a link to a YouTube video where Mr. JML of JML Recording goes through, it's about a 15-minute video, I think, all the trouble, frankly, that they went to make sure every microphone and basically every piece of musical equipment was authentic, was what you would have seen if you were flying the wall in 1960, 1964. Very interesting. And okay, if you're reading his Instagram post here, he's Also doing the same thing for the new Bruce Springsteen biopic called Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's not out yet. You guys know about this? The young man portraying Bruce Springsteen, some of you will recognize him as the star of the series called The Bear, about the Chicago restaurant. Anybody watch The Bear? My wife and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And so that actor who played the head chef, the restaurant owner, he is portraying Bruce Springsteen in Deliver Me From Nowhere. I have no idea when it's coming out, but that guy on the right in the picture is the guy in charge of the microphones, and maybe more than just the microphones. Anyways, I will put, here we go, I'll put a link to the video of him talking about all the equipment from the Bob Dylan biopic. I'll put that in the description of this. All right, you guys, check. We did it. We did it. We did a lot of stuff today. I'm good if you're good. Look at that. I don't know. Let's call it. That's this week's show. I want to wish you guys happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy weekend. I hope you have a great week. I appreciate you being here. I see a lot of you have been here for almost the entire show, man. That's awesome. Thank you. I've been here too. We did it. We did it. So thank you for your super chats. Thank you in advance if some of you decide to become members of my website. I appreciate it. Thank you in advance if some of you decide to buy yourself a little something like the Strum Pattern Bible, the Guitar Year One, all that stuff on the website. Thank you in advance. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Thank you to my wife for being our moderator, music fan 1004. Let's give her a round of applause. Appreciate it, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah, man, that's going to do it. All right. So have a great week. Hope you have a chance to play the guitar a little bit. It's good for your mental health, don't forget, right? It's fantastic for your mental health. Next Saturday, let's do it all again. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be around. New song to play along with. New stuff to talk about. If you think of a question during the week, write it down. All right? So you don't forget. That's going to do it. All right, you guys. That's it for this week's show. I will see you next Saturday. Take care of yourselves. Make good choices. And have a great weekend. My weekend starts now.